Hey guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today I'm reviewing episode 2 of the Righteous Gemstones. So like I said in the previous review, I was a little skeptical going into the first episode. It hadn't really hooked me in completely. I still had some interesting ideas, and I have to say, after the second episode, I am way more invested. I think this show definitely picked up for me. The first episode relied so much on kind of setting up the storyline, setting up the characters, that I could really see the actors and the whole story really playing out more in the second episode. The comedic timing between these actors is excellent. I think that Danny McBride as Jesse Gemstone just steals the show. Everything with him just works so well, his quick banter. I think the interactions between the siblings is the funniest part of the show. I love how quick and witty the dialogue is back and forth. There's even a scene in particular in this episode where they're talking about divvying up some money, and I just love the quick back and forth that they do. It works so well, and it's so funny. I find myself laughing out loud mostly at their interactions and the interactions with people that are like working for them, the way they talk down to them. And that's one of the things that works well in this series, and I think it's going to continue to work really well, is just the disconnect of the Gemstones from the average people. There's one part in this episode where they're trying to get some security footage, and he's like, yeah, I walked in there just like I was a regular man. And it's funny because they think of themselves as more than just an average person, and it comes off really funny. I think that Danny McBride really embodies this over-the-top, ridiculous character, and I love seeing the two sides of him. In public, where he's trying to be so likable, and then you have the dark side when he's actually interacting with the people that know who he is as a person. And I think that dichotomy of two people works really well for his character. I also like that the show seems to set up we're going to have kind of a concurrent storylines going on. I like that. I like that we're seeing like the robber side of it and the part that's going on with those characters and the part going on with the Gemstones and how it's colliding. We see the introduction of Skylar Gizondo's character, and he is an actor that I always found really, really funny. I loved him in Santa Clarita Diet. I'm so sad that they're not being canceled, but I'm glad that he's going on to another show where he seems like he can really show his comedic prowess. It's a similar character so far, and I really liked it. I know I don't want to give up too much of the twist. If you haven't seen this episode, obviously, if I tell you the twist, it's going to kind of ruin the whole episode for you. But I have to say, I thought the twist worked really well, and I think that it's going to be some really interesting storytelling going forward with how this is all going to play out. And I really like how the show is starting to show a really good balance, how it's going to deal with the serious topics and how it's going to deal with the over-the-top comedy. This episode in particular did a really good job of showing the struggles that Danny McBride's character, Jesse Gemstone, is dealing with on a deeper level, where he's dealing with his one son, his estranged son, and kind of his attempt to control his life and try to control things that maybe he necessarily can't. And I liked that. I like that we're seeing him in a somber way. We're seeing different characters dealing with their internal demons when they're these ridiculous over-the-top figures in their public life. In their private life, they deal with a lot. Maybe, we're going to see them come to a point where they need to practice what they preach. And I think that it's going to be something that I would really like to see explored in this series. And I'm definitely intrigued. I'm a lot more intrigued after the second episode than I was with the first one. I think the characters have been set up. I think we're really seeing some really hilarious moments with these characters, and I feel like there's so many things they can do and play off each other that I can't wait to see where they go from here. I'm also really interested to see how John Goodman's patriarch of the family, how that character is going to play out, because we saw him a little bit more in the first episode. He's barely in the second episode, and I feel like he is going to be like almost like a stabilizing or menacing force in this series. He seems so serious, and you know that he has these demons, but he hasn't fully showed them. He's obviously a ruthless businessman, but I feel like there's something there, something beneath the surface, and I'm really interested to see that get uncovered as the series goes on. Alright guys, so that's my thoughts on episode 2 of The Righteous Gemstones. Did you like it? Did you think it was better than the first episode like I did? Are you invested? You can continue watching? I'm actually way more invested than I was in the first episode. I was almost like, oh my gosh, I'm interested, but I'm not going to have to, keep going through this if I don't like it, but I think I'm really want to see what's going to happen. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you next time.